Hi everyone, this is Stephen Ralston and I'm doing my project on Facebook. So to start off with the industry, Facebook's in the social media advertising industry where they use social media platforms to sell advertising. Um, they have multiple platforms including Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp. Um, this industry caught fire back in the early 2000s. Some of the key players are Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. And it's also on a current upward trend, so it's becoming part of our daily lives. Some of the rivals include Apple with their messaging services, Google and YouTube. They advertise very effectively through their platform. YouTube does a very good job with their videos. Tencent, this is mainly because of the impact in foreign markets. And then Amazon, they have a major platform for advertising with Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, Amazon Music. So they're doing a good job there. Some of the driving forces here of change. I use a pastel model, so politically, social media platforms are exposed to political debates, controversies. I think we noticed that the past year or so. Economically, it's good for business advertising, especially during the pandemic. Sociocultural. So, young generation, this is very impactful and very helpful for them because people are able to personalize their age, race, sexual orientation, religious beliefs. Technological, the major part of the growth within the industry. I think that just goes without saying. Ecological makes an impact with, Facebook is trying to make an impact with zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030, so they're trying to get involved there. And legally, they do have trouble here with a major data breach back in 2013, 2014. It raises concerns for Facebook. The five forces, so the first one-third of entry, this is mid to low. They have had a great head start. They have a massive market, and they've continued to grow. They're almost at 3 billion users. So I don't see anything really major happening there. Power of suppliers and buyers. So I kind of put these two together just based off the nature of Facebook's industry. They've been a powerhouse, and I think that really does a lot. They have a lot of the competitive advantage there because they're so big that everyone wants to be a part of them, everyone wants to invest in them, and everyone wants to advertise to them. So they're doing a very good job there. Threat of substitutes. I think this is definitely applying the most pressure here. It's kind of high because there's other options such as YouTube, Amazon, Hulu. I know that if I'm a company, YouTube can be a great option because people are forced to watch that first 5 seconds of video. Rivalry amongst the competitors. I have this high as well because major competitors possess different platforms, so that's up to the advertisers based on what they feel is more effective in the future. And then for a solution, they've been very good with major expansion and growth, especially through acquisitions. We'll get into that later. And then they're innovative and they produce great content. Attractiveness of the industry. So there's two views. First, unattractive. To enter it, this is just not a good idea. I think it would take way too long. Your platform might be extremely differentiated, such as TikTok. They've done a decent job. Nothing like Facebook, but they've been very effective in the last year or so. And it's attractive for advertisers. The younger generation has been surrounded with technology their whole lives, and people are always connected to their tablets, phones, computers. So I think it's a good time to be getting involved as an advertising. Their mission statement. So they do have one. It emphasizes the importance of community and connectivity. Most of these companies to their competitors are very similar. They're all trying to connect with the users, their customers, the public. And the mission statements, they can reflect on a company, their leadership and their culture. And if the mission statements aren't backed up by those actions by management, it can lower the integrity of the company and also lower the brand reputation. Some strategic objectives. They're mainly centered around growth, honestly, as a whole, through acquisitions, their market size and content. They're continually growing. And it's paid dividends through their performance. Comparison to 2016, the revenue has spiked from 17.9 to 85.9 billion. Gross profits 15 to 69 billion. Earnings per share increase of $9. Net income increase to $25 billion. And they currently have 2.7 billion active users and 7 million advertisers. Very, very, very impressive. So here's the SWOT analysis. Their strengths here, they have a great brand image. Everyone knows who Facebook is. They've done very well with growth. They've had a lot of acquisitions through the years, and they have a very innovative culture, which is led by Mark Zuckerberg. Now, weaknesses, they do have privacy concerns due to those data breaches. And although Zuckerberg has brought great innovative culture, he lacks in management in regards to doing business. Um, Opportunities, they have an opportunity to expand to other markets and industries. I think that this is the perfect time for them to maybe even try something out, keep growing. And then development of advertising on mobile apps. This is something that I found online. I thought it was a very good point. Everyone's usually on their phones now and less on computers. It's crazy to think about. And threats. They're targeted due to their success. Younger generation could become less interested, which I don't see happening. But if more apps like TikTok somehow get really popular, then down the road they may be in trouble. And then federal laws of banning and Facebook in China and Russia, that hurts them because those are big markets that they could have hit, and hopefully no more countries hit them hard with that. Core competency. So I would say it's the startup and innovation. So they had a great startup. They have a competitive advantage due to their time and presence in the industry. I mean, they were kind of one of the first really big powerhouses to make a stand. They gained a large portion of the market, and they were established. They were different from the start, and they did things that other companies weren't doing, and that's what made them so good. And the innovation. So once they established themselves, they continue to get better and better and better. This mindset of that Zuckerberg had is spread throughout the company. They've had that quick expansion from the wall to the newsfeed to Messenger and so on. And they avoid being one-dimensional. That's the one weakness for YouTube. You really only post and view videos, so that they struggle there. For the value chain activities, so there's 5 of them. Inbound logistics, this is about attaining technology, equipment, and employees. Then you have operations, so they have their investments in training, R&D, technology, and promote innovative mindset. I think that's actually really huge that they do. Outbound logistics, this is releasing the content to the public for free, and the users add attraction for advertisers. And then this goes into marketing and sales because I put this little equation here, which says good content equals more users, which equals more advertisers. And then, of course, you'll know that gives them more money. And then customer service, I think due to the nature, they're very lacking here. It's just the nature of the platform and how big they are. It's really difficult for them to really grow there. Competitive positioning. So they're a great platform. It's well organized. It's easy to use. My recommendation though is to improve the customer service. And like I said, I do think that might be difficult, but they need to find a way to definitely try to do that, especially to protect their users. And I think this could stem from investing more in their operations. Control systems need to be enhanced and improve privacy protection for their users. I think that people will be definitely more satisfied with that. Their competitive strategy, I want cost leadership. At first, I think it was differentiated, but over time and now it's definitely cost leadership. They focus their costs internally, R&D, content development. They minimize costs by providing multiple platforms. Majority of revenue is earned through their advertising. Right? They reduce costs in marketing and sales. They will focus on their content development. And when you're a company that can focus on improving yourselves rather than paying someone else to do the work for you, then you're setting yourself up nicely financially. So how they've sustained competitive advantage through this strategy. So their cost leadership strategy has been essential for them in the recent years. Besides their investments in acquiring other platforms, they've been established in 2004, right? And they've just continued to develop and grow, and they're a leader in their industry. So by having this strategy of investing in themselves, not besides their acquisitions, right? They're taking those acquisitions and they're utilizing them, and yeah, they're not paying other people to do their work for them. And I think changing strategy now would just be very risky. I think it wouldn't do well for them. Their methods for growth. So their primary method for growth is their acquisitions. Their major acquisitions are Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus VR. This has allowed them to expand to different markets, both geographically and demographically. It eliminates potential competitors. So WhatsApp is now no longer a competitor with Messenger, which is huge. And it provides opportunity for new markets. It increases size and it differentiates some of the platforms that they had before, such as Oculus. Diversification strategies. So most of the revenue is achieved through the Facebook platform. Roughly 90% of the income is through advertisements, which is unbelievable. Um, they're diversified through acquiring other companies, some unrelated and some are related. Um, and but they don't really make as much as their revenue from those acquisitions. They do have new opportunities though presented through Oculus VR. This introduced them to gaming and virtual reality industry, which who knows. I think right now they're in a good position with these acquisitions for the future. If Facebook starts not doing as well, they've set themselves up very well with other companies that they have, new platforms. Foreign markets. So they have had legal issues with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. This has caused struggles for them. People have struggled trusting them and using their platform. Federal regulations such as bans in Russia and China, like I said before, that takes away from a large part of their market. But they do have a competitive advantage. They've had success through the acquisition of platforms with the foreign-based markets. I know for sure the WhatsApp application was huge in Europe. I had a few friends who love that app from Spain and France, and they use it all the time. So good for them. Company stresses community, so it brings people together, and I think that kind of just speaks on a global scale, and I think that's a good that gives them a competitive advantage with how they operate. And then they also have various languages. I think they spend a lot of time to relate to people internationally and to build that community very strong. Organizational structure. So these are a matrix structure with three features: corporate function-based teams, geographic divisions, and product-based divisions. The strengths are flexibility, capability to change, and they operate internationally. The weaknesses, it's the communication across divisions and communication with management is going to be difficult though because they're just such a big company. It's kind of hard to build the best organizational structure for them. But anyways, code of conduct, very detailed, has 14 sections. Some of the examples are harassment, communications, confidential information. They have policies for social responsibility. They aren't the best. I think they struggle satisfying the needs of the users, but they're great at satisfying the needs of the stakeholders and the advertisers. I think you always want to please the customer, but in this case, the advertisers are the customers, so it's pretty ironic. Human resource policies, they stress community, home-like work environment, which I found pretty cool. They really cover harassment. I think with online bullying, I think that really fits there. And focus on younger generations' needs. They're trying to make people feel comfortable. And leadership. So they have two leaders, right? They have Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, and Sheryl Sandberg. I put Zuckerberg as a level one leader. I think he established a company. He's an absolute genius, but he struggles on the business side of things, and that's not a CEO would be. Then you have Sheryl Sandberg. She's the CEO. She's a level 3 leader, established businesswoman, and works well with Mark. So I think that their styles are effective, but they can be improved based on their roles, and we'll get into that in a minute. So the overall assessment, I think it's pretty obvious. Facebook is an innovative success story. They have success and expand globally. They have great positioning in regards to where the industry is headed in the future for expansion. And they are a major target in the industry, and they have to be aware of that. I think everyone's going to be gunning for them. That's what happens when you're the best. I do have strategic recommendations though. One being Zuckerberg and Sandberg should switch roles. I think that they're both good at doing their jobs, but I think they'd be more effective if they were to switch roles. I just don't think Zuckerberg is necessarily the leader to be making business decisions when Sandberg is so successful at it. Major one here: increase security and stress the protection of users. This is massive. This has to be done. I think this could really be the make or break for Facebook in the future. Data breaches can ruin reputation, images, and can also set you up with legal troubles and financial instability. And then lastly, continue to grow Facebook, but also the minor platforms. I think, if you're going to acquire these companies, continue the growth, or else it defeats the purpose of growing yourself, growing your company, and trying to take advantage of the opportunities presented. So anyways, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.